function خلاص وخلينا نعرف كده what's the function is talking about. Okay, let me start the function from the beginning. يوسف احنا ما عملناش حاجه خالص في موضوع الفانكشن ده صح؟ هناك حتى ما عملناش حاجه هناك في الكروتين. اوكي طيب for the function let's start what is the function. احمد what is the function? In general we are saying the function it's a type of a relation. It's connected between two items. يعني for example I have here this is what we call it a domain. And in the front of it, there is what we will call it codomain or the opposite domain. يعني هنا this one we will call it codomain. Right. So I have a domain and I have a codomain. What is the story between the domain and the codomain? For example, if I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, and I have like 4, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, and so on. And I define a relation joined between the domain, which we will call it as x, and the codomain, which we will call it as y. يعني أنا هنا I have a domain and I have a codomain. So it's for the front one, it's the domain. The opposite one, it's the codomain. Like, what is the relation that we can create between both? I have the domain and I have the codomain. Let's say they define for us a relation which is y, or the codomain comes by that we have to multiply by 5. So I need to multiply by 5. In this case, 1 will join 5. 2 will join, حد يقول لي ها 2 will join مين؟ 10. 3 will join 15. It will be like a connection between 5, 3, and 15. 4 and 20. So here the domain, the set of the domain in this case, it will be 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is my domain. طيب كده الدومين بتاعك يعني what is the meaning of the domain يا عيال؟ اللي هو ال places او ال values اللي انا عملت بيها ال replacement. This is what we call it a domain. يبقى انا عندي هنا 1 2 3 4 these are the domains. طيب in the opposite the codomain you can see the codomain contains many of the elements or many numbers. But هنا for us we will call the range. What is the range? Range, it's the set of images. يعني مش كل حاجة, it is not all the items, it's specific elements. What are the specific elements that we took it from the range? مين هم اللي هناخدهم من الرينج هنا؟ 5 مش كده؟ ما تقولوا معايا مين اللي انا خدته من عند الكودومين؟ What are the images؟ كانت مين هي؟ 5 10 15 and 20. This what we will call it the range of the function. So I have a domain of the function which is the values that I put it into the relation, and there is results comes from the relation. This is what we call it the range. طيب, what is this relation defined as? We will call this relation as a function. يعني I can say for here, for example, we have the function as y is equal to 5 into x. So I have this one, we will call it y equal 5x, or f of x يا حلا is equal to 5x. So I have any of this definition. يعني I have here y is equal to 5x, أو إن ال f of x is equal to 5x. Am I clear on that? So there is a kind of a definition we will follow to make a transaction or a translation or a connection between the first group and the second group. اتفقنا كده يا نوران؟ يبقى أنا عندي what is the function? It's a relation will take some values from the first group and it will give me the result based on these values from the other group. خلاص كده؟ طيب the function can be defined in many different ways. يعني الفانكشن بالنسبة لنا كده what is the relation؟ يعني I did a relation as f of x is equal to 5x. I can make another relation as it's x plus 3 مثلا. Okay? Or x plus 5 or whatever the number is. So if I have like a different relationship, I can make like k of x is equal x squared minus 4. I can make many different relation between the two sets. طيب, what do we need to learn into the function lesson? There are 5 things or 5 words that you should understand them. What are these words? Number 1, what is the meaning of the function. يعني what do we mean by the function? Okay, what do we mean by the function? Second word that you need to know about it, it will be what is the domain. Third one that you need to know about it, it will be the range. Number 4, you need to understand what the meaning of the inverse or the composite function first. Composite function. Then number 5, you need to identify the inverse. So they are like 5 items we need to learn. Right, let's go step by step. What is the function? The function, as I told you, it's the relation. هي relation اللي هي connected between two items. Whatever what is, يعني هنا, if I will talk about the first part, which is the function, function. If I will talk regarding to the function, I'll say the following, أنا عندي كانت ال x will go to y through a relation. This relation we will call it f. Sometimes I can express it by this way. Sometimes I can express it by the other way, and I can say f where x will go to y. And sometimes I will call it, or I will refer to it يعني as f of x is equal to y. يبقى هنا just you need to identify, sometimes they write for us the function as x goes to y through the function, or f where x is going to y, or f of x is equal to y. يبقى I have different shapes to express the function in Oran. طيب, let's say for example I have this function as f of x is equal, let me say, x plus 2. And I need you, this is the definition of the function, and we need to do the following. I need you to identify for me, for example, what is f of 1? Who can tell me what will be the f of 1? يلا يا عيال، مين اللي يعرف يقول لنا كده f of 1 is equal to what? 3. How we get it? We just replace the x by what? 1. So it will be 1 plus 2, which is equal to 3. طيب, if I said I need to have like f of 5, who can tell me what will be the answer? 7. يعني اللي هي تبقى عبارة عن 5 plus 2 اللي equal 7. طيب, if I said I need to have like f of minus 3, so what will be the answer? Negative 3 plus 2, which is equal to negative 1. Okay, so we have this one. So I have the function as f of 1 is equal, f of 5 is equal, f of negative 3 is equal. طب if I said f of negative 2, what will be the answer? 0. So it will be negative 2 plus 2, which is equal to 0. طيب, let me say I need you to find for me f of a. يعني f أي حاجة, anything. What will be the answer? a plus 2. صح. طيب, if I said I need f of x minus 7, who can tell me f of x minus 7 what it will be? اللي هي x minus 5. جبناها منين بقى؟ We just replaced x by x minus 7. So I will say it's x minus 7 as a replacement of x. وبعد كده I will increase it by 2. So the answer will be x minus 5. طب, if I said I need to have like f of x squared minus 2, what will be the answer? So I have to replace it. It will be x squared minus 2 plus 2. This will give me x squared. Are we clear on that? Right. So for any function, you can just replace anything as a replacement of x. Yani I can just replace x by any value. Right. Let's go to the next part. Let's, for example, if we said I have the following, the types of the function. يعني هنا بقى, if this is just the meaning of the function, sometimes the function comes differently. يعني it can come like 1 over x squared minus 3 مثلا. Okay, so f of x comes in a different way. If I'll ask you to find the following, please do it in your own. يلا اعملوها بروحكم. لو انا قلت لك طلع لي الاف of 1 بتساوي كام، لو عايزك تجيب لي الاف of 5 هتساوي كام، لو عايزك تجيب لي f of negative 2, what it will be equal to. If I have like f of x minus 3, what it will be. And later I have f of 3, and I have f of negative 3. يلا try to find these values. يلا did you finish it? اوكي خلاص يا جماعه خلصناها. f of 1 what's the answer of f of 1؟ 1 over 1 squared اللي هي 1 minus 3 يعني تطلع هنا 1 minus 3 يعني كأنها 1 over negative 2 which is equal to negative 1 over 2. طيب f of 5 يلا يا جماعه مين اللي طلع ال f of 5؟ 1 over 5 squared اللي هي 25 minus 3 25 minus 3 equal 22. طيب f of negative 2 عايز اعمل replacement عن الاكس بتساوي negative 2 يا شباب. what will be the answer؟ ها 1 over negative 2 square it will be 4 4 minus 3 equal 1 so it's 4 minus 3 اللي هي 1 over 1 اللي هي طلع لي 1. اوعي تنسي بس هنا او يعني just be careful ان انا لو هعمل replacement عن النيجاتيف 2 negative 2 should be into the bracket يعني ما تعملش replacement من غير ما تحط البراكت. يبقى انا عندي هنا negative 2 all power 2 بعد كده minus 3 اللي هي 4 minus 3 فاقدر اقول عليها ان هي 1 over 4 minus 3 اهو اللي هي يعني عباره عن 1 over 1 اللي هي في النهايه is equal to 1. اتفقنا؟ طيب if I said I need f of x minus 3 يلا مين اللي هيطلع الانسر؟ لا هتبقى هنا 1 over x minus 3 all of power كام؟ 2. ما احنا عندنا f العفريت 1 over عفريت سكوير minus 3 فيبقى هنا f بتاعت اي حاجه يبقى انت هتحط 1 over الحاجه دي power 2 minus 3 وتقدر ان انت تعمل لها simplify or even you can keep it. Do you have any problem with this one؟ معايا كده يا نورا في اي مشكله الحكايه دي؟ طبعا I can express it يعني I can simplify and I can leave it it doesn't make difference. طيب لو انا قلت لكم بقى طلعوا لي الاف اوف 3 مين اللي طلع الاف اوف 3؟ 1 over 6 so I have the following 1 over 9 minus 3 اللي هي هتطلع لي 1 over 6. طب والثانيه برضو 1 over 6 because it's negative 3 to the power of 2 which is equal to 9 9 minus 3 equals 6 وبرضه الناحيه الثانيه it will be the same يعني الانسر هيطلع لنا 1 over كام 1 over 6. اتفقنا؟ Do we have any problem with this part؟ في اي مشكله يا جماعه في الحكايه دي؟ طيب خلينا بقى ناخد من الميننج هنا يعني we will go from the meaning part من البارت بتاعت الميننج اللي عندك دي اللي هي الميننج of the function to the next part اخرت لي يا عمر to the next part about the domain of the function. بصوا يا شباب بقى عشان خاطر نتعلم على البارت نمبر 2 اللي هو الدومين اوف ذا فانكشن. What is the domain؟ مين هو الدومين؟ If I said there are like let's say that the functions in general it comes one of a three module or a three types. Type A which is polynomial function. So this is a part A. But then we have part B which is we call it as a fractional function. Fractional function. بعدين part C we call it as radical function. Radical function. طيب I have like a three main shapes which is polynomial, fractional and the radical functions. طيب let's go through these three parts. What is the polynomial؟ Polynomial means يا عيال لو انا عندي f of x will come into this form يعني mainly كده it is written as a plus bx plus cx squared plus dx power 3 plus blah 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 يعني I will not stop it. So example of it, if I said for example I have f of x is equal to 2x squared minus 5. In this case, your domain for all of these ones, domain will be all of the real numbers. يعني ايه الكلام ده بقى عشان انا مش فاهم انا. I can replace x by any value. No value will make a problem. There is no values makes any problem. يعني if I will put x equal to 1, x equal to 2, x equal to 5, x equal to negative 10, 0, أي value to be replaced into x, this will not make change. So the domain will keep as r. يبقى الدومين عندي أنا will not change. It will stay as r. طيب, do you think there is from the domain, يعني from the first box when we are taking the value when we will put it into the function, there is any number that if I will take it from the real numbers and I will put it into the function, it will be a problem? No number makes a problem. يعني مفيش أي عدد بيعمل معاه مشاكل. All the numbers like the polynomial function. كل النمبرز يا أحمد you can replace x by any value. I can put 1, I can put 2, can put negative 5, negative 20. I don't have any problem with any number. طيب, have a look on the fractional function. For example, if I have this function as an example of it, يعني, if I said 1 over x minus 5. Let's try to find, for example, f of 2. I can find out f of 2 ولا ايه حالة؟ يعني we can replace x by 2, it's okay. طب لو انا قلت لك replace x by 3. Okay. طب if I will say replace x by 5. ها يا جماعة يلا replace x by 5. طب ركزي فيها تاني كده. If I will replace x by 5 مش هتشتغل. خلاص it will not work. ليه it will not work? It will make a problem. Try to make on the calculator 1 over 5 minus 5, which is translated as 1 over 0 يعني. It doesn't work. If it doesn't work, يعني if I said it's 1 over x minus 5 and I just replace the x by 5, so if you will make it on the calculator will say bad word. خلاص هتبقى مشكلة يعني. So what we have to say in this case, that the value of x equal to 5 is unaccepted. Okay, we cannot accept it. So we can say that we have to exclude any value will make 0 in the denominator. يعني هنا let, or I can say يعني let x minus 5 is equal to what? To 0. لو كانت ال x minus 5 is equal to 0 عيال, this will give me x is equal to what? To 5. This value should be excluded من الدومين. يعني أنا I can replace x by any value يا حلا. أقدر أعمل replacement بأي قيمة للx. I don't have any problem with any of the values. But the main problem, if I replace x by كام? By 5. If I will replace x by 5, this will make a problem. So what I have to say, if x is equal to 5, يعني if I'm saying x يا نورا is equal to 5, this should be excluded from the domain. So 5 should be excluded from the domain. يبقى هنا كده I have to exclude the 5. Why do I have to exclude the 5? Because if I will put 5 in this function يا حلا, it will make a problem. خلاص? It will make for me number divided by 0, which gonna make a mistake or gonna make a problem. طيب, let me go for another example related to this one. It's if I said f of x is equal to 7 over x squared minus 9. Who can tell me what is the value or the values which could be removed from the domain؟ يعني اللي هي I should يعني remove it from the domain. Only 3 بس ولا حاجة تانية؟ Is it only 3 عيال ولا do you think there is another number? Only 3 صح كده؟ So if to be able to identify that, you have to just let x squared minus 9 is equal to 0. If I said x squared minus 9 is equal to 0, that will make it x squared is equal to 9, which means x itself it will be plus or minus root 9. يعني اللي هي plus or minus what? 3, which should be excluded من the domain. So I will not exclude only the 3. I have to exclude the 3 and negative 3. Why I should exclude it both? Because if I will replace x by 3 or if I will replace x by negative 3, both of them, the power 2 of it will make it 9, which is not 9 minus 9 will not work. So your work in this question, it's to say 3 and negative 3 should be excluded from the domain. Am I clear on that؟ فاهمين حاجه يا حلا؟ قولي لي لو مش فاهمه قولي لي. طيب يبقى انا في عندي two values هنا I should exclude it من الدومين. ليه؟ Because any of these two values will make a problem for the denominator. طيب if I said another one like it, especially the fractional, يعني اهو f of x is equal to 1 over x squared minus 3x plus 2. Who can tell me what are the values which should be excluded من الدومين؟ يلا مين الاعداد اللي انا لازم اعمل لها excluded من الدومين؟ Give me the process. ها what's the process to find out the two values or the values؟ ها what should I say؟ قولوا معايا والنبي. ها let x squared minus 3x plus 2 is equal to كام؟ Let's go for the factorization. x and x عددين البرودكت ب 2 السم بتاعتهم ب 3 هتبقى نيجاتيف 2 نيجاتيف كام؟ 1. So x is equal to 2 or x is equal to 1. What about these two values? Should be what? Excluded. يعني مش الاثنين بس او ال1 بس. Both of them should be excluded. Are we clear on that? طيب let's go to the third type which is the radical function. What is the radical function is talking about? يعني let me say that f of x is equal to root x. The value which should be excluded من الدومين يا عيال اللي هي the square root doesn't accept any negative number inside the root. يعني if I have a square root I cannot accept any negative value خلاص below of the root. If I will put x is equal to -1 it will be a problem. If I will put x is equal to -5 it will be a problem. Even if you did it on the calculator it will show you that something like I or imaginary numbers which is not accepted. اتفقنا؟ So if I have f of x is equal to radical or the square root of x, here your condition x is smaller than 0 is unaccepted. So I have to exclude all the values of x smaller than 0. All the negative values should be excluded من الدومين. Why? If I will put x is equal to -1, it will be a problem. Because if you try to make the square root of -1, it will not work. معايا كده؟ طيب, let's make another example. يعني هنا if I said g of x is equal to square root of x minus 3. Who can tell me عيال, what is the value which should be excluded من الدومين? What are the values which I should exclude it from the domain? ها مين الحاجات اللي لازم تتسحب من الدومين؟ يعني what is the value which is not accepted? All of the values which is less than 0. طب ما انا ممكن اخد معاك مثلا حلو يعني اللي تحت الصفر انت مش هتقبله. طب يعني هتقبل كل اللي فوق الصفر؟ يا باشا مش مهم نطلع ريزلت، انا بتكلم ان هو ينفع يتحط تحت الروت ولا ما ينفعش. يعني خلينا مثلا ان انا قلت لك ان انا if I will put x is equal to 1 are you gonna accept x is equal to 1؟ طب x is equal to 2 مش هشتغل بيها برضو it will not work. طيب what is the يعني what is the all the values what are the values which I should exclude it يعني the values which I should remove it. All of the values below of what 3 يعني 3 and below of it يعني 3 it can be accepted لان انا if I will replace x by 3 3 minus 3 will be 0 square root of the 0 it's 0 عادي مفيش مشكله. طيب in the second hand or on the other hand if I will put x is equal to let me say مثلا 2 this will make a problem. Any value below of the 3 it will make a problem. So for me to identify the excluded value I have to go and I have to say let x minus 3 smaller than 0. If x minus 3 smaller than 0 يعني ال x smaller than كام؟ 3. All of these values should be excluded from the domain. اتفقنا؟ It should be excluded from the domain. معايا حلقة؟ يبقى أنا كده عملت x minus 3 أقل من الصفر كل الفاليوز اللي هي اللي smaller than 0 I will not accept it اللي هي كل ال x minus 3 أقل من الصفر اللي هم يعني if I will translate it x minus 3 smaller than 0 I will send the 3 into the other side so x smaller than 3 should be excluded from the domain. Are we clear on that? معايا كده ولا ايه؟ طيب let's go to the next part. So just you can identify the domain of the function as R while the range of the while the domain are without the problems. What are the problems? The problem for us, it will be anything that will make a problem, like divide by 0 will make a problem, square of negative value will make a problem. So any value for x which will makes a problem with the question, you have to exclude it. اتفقنا يا عمر؟ طيب, let's go into another part يعني. Let's go into the another part. I have here what we agreed on that we need to discuss. The first part, it was the meaning, اللي هو الفانكشن, the meaning of the function يعني, meaning of the function or the function definition. The second part, it's the domain. The third part, it will be the range. طيب, let's discuss what do we mean by the range. يعني ايه كلمة range? If you went through the first question, the first part that we said, I have a domain, I applied a specific function, and I get the results. These results, not all of the y, not everything. Nah. أنا قلت كده برضه، أقفله يعني ولا أعمل إيه؟ هو فعلا حسيت ببرد كده بزيادة. كنت كمان عيانة كمان بس الموضوع. طيب. خلينا نكمل هنا. If I have, this is my domain, and these are the parts which I took it from the codomain. يعني هم not everything in the opposite I will take it as the range. No, it's a specific values which represent for me the answers of the question. يعني, for example, here I have to multiply by 5, so all the multiple of 5 can be our range. يعني اللي هي results بتاعتنا. معايا حلقة؟ طيب, for example, خلينا بس let's go through something to identify or to be able to understand what is the range. Let's say I have an example as I get f of x is equal to x squared. خلاص, plus 3 or plus 1. Let me try to draw this function. If I'll try to check any of the programs which يعني it is able to draw for me the function. هتفتح يا عم. So for example, if I have like x squared plus 1. If you look into this function يا عيال, يعني لو أنا بس عملت كده zooming على الفانكشن دي, 0 will give me the answer as 1. طب 1 will give me the answer as 2. يعني when I will replace x by a value, يعني الدومين بتاعي هنا كده يا حلا, all of these values, all of the horizontal line represent for me the domain. كل الهوريزونتال دول بيمثلوا لك الدومين. طيب, let's go back to make the replacement يا رغد, و let's see what will be the answer. If I'll put x is equal to 0, I get y is equal to 1. If I'll put x equal to 1, I get 2. 3 will give me 5. او لا يا رب, ده 3 مدياك 10. اوكي, نيجاتيف 1 مطلع لك 2, النيجاتيف 2 مطلع لك 5, النيجاتيف 3 مطلع لك positive 10 and so on. طيب, I need you to tell me what could be the range in this case. يعني الايمجز بتاعتنا طلعت فين؟ Do you think that I took all of the y-axis as a range, or there is a specific values that I took it as a range? What are these specific values? Excellent, يا أحمد. It's all the values which are above 1. So if I would write this function f of x equal to x squared plus 1, I can replace x by any value from the x-axis. I can replace x by any value. It's fine. طيب, let's see what will be the y-axis. If I have to put the x-axis on the line هنا, يعني if I just replace x by any value, and I will go through the y results or the answers of the function. Let's see كده يا رغد what I get. I get here the starting of the y, يعني starting of the image starting from the 1. After that, I took the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the other values. So I can say my range in this question, it will be y greater than or equal to 1. Am I clear on that? يبقى كده مين هو الرينج? What is the range? It's the specific values that I took it from y-axis. Are we clear on that? طيب, خلينا let's try another example. Another example to understand what is the range is. If I said f of x is equal negative x squared plus 1. بس هي negative x squared plus 1. Okay? I will show you how this function will happen. If I will draw this function by using my program, خلاص يعني by using the other program هنا كده يا حلا, وأنا I need to draw the function. I'll draw it by this way. The function will come like that. Okay, أهو خليني أوريها لك. Where is it? أهو. If I said I need it, غير لي الإشارة يا عم الحاج خليها لي minus. بصوا يا بنات كده, بصوا يا شباب. If I did it as negative x squared plus 1, have a look. How's the curve will be? When I replaced x by 0, I get 0 plus 1 gives me 1. طب if I'll put x is equal to 1, it will be minus 1 plus 1. This will give me 0. If I'll put it as negative 1, it will be negative 1 power 2, which is positive 1. And there is a negative outside, so it will be negative 1 plus 1, again will give me 0. So I have all of these values will give me the curve as you can see. طيب, in this case يا عيال, what do you think is the range? مين هو الرينج؟ مين يعرف يقول لي مين الرينج في الحالة دي يا رغد؟ مين الريزلت؟ الريزلت طلعت عندك فين؟ 1 أو أقل, برافو عليك. It is 1 or below of the 1. علشان كده to work on this function, for example, my highest value comes as 1. So my range in this function, will be all the values of y, which is smaller than or equal to 1. Am I clear on that? So I get all of the values, يعني just I did a draw or a drawing for the function, and I looked into the function and I get all of the values which is smaller than or equal to 1. Are we clear on that? مفهومة كده يا نورا؟ طيب, there is another type of a function. Let me say all of you heard about the trig. We went through the trigonometry when we have the sine and the cosine and all of this blah blah blah. You know about it, right? So let's go, for example, to find out a function f of x as equal to sine of theta or equal sine of x. خلاص يعني I have a function هنا اللي هي مثلا sine of x. Let's try كده to see how can we or how it is possible to draw this function. In fact, because I need this function, it is very important. If I'll put x is equal to 0, I'll say what is the sign of the 0. I'll say what is the 30, 60, 90. I'll go by angles, so it will go like a little bit longer. 150, 180, 210, 240, 270, 300, 330, and 360. Have a look. If I said, let's try to replace x by 0. So, sine of the 0 equal كام يا عيال? Just make كده sine of the 0. Sine of 0 equal 0. يعني sine of 0 comes as 0. Sine of 30 it will be half. اعمليها على الكالكوليتر كده. Sine of 30 equals half. Sine of 60 will come as 0.87 something يعني about to be 1. Sine of 90 it will come as 1. Sine of 120 it will come again as 0.87 something like that. 150 it will come again as half. And 180 will come as 0. If I will draw the function in this case, I will find the function will go into this shape. The highest value that I can reach, it will be 1. The lowest value that I can reach, it will be negative 1. I will show you this function. اهو خليكم معايا كده. If I said يا عم شيل الكلام ده خالص, and let's go for sine of x. So sine of x, I have this function as sine of x. طيب, have a look. If you looked into this function يا عيال, بصوا كده معايا اهو. بس because the calculator, this graph, he doesn't understand, يعني it is working by different stories, so I will convert it into pi. خليكم معايا كده. You know about, this is for example, you know يا عيال ان الباي, كلمة الباي is equal to 180. يعني انتوا عندكم الفول سيركل عبارة عن كام؟ 360. Half of it 180. So I have, this is a full circle. You can see that. Pi, it is 180. اعرفي بس ان الباي هو عبارة عن 180. اتفقنا؟ So in the middle it will be 90. Sine of 0 comes as 0. 90 بتجيب لنا كام? What is the highest value that you can see that I reach to? 1. What is the lowest value that I reach to? negative 1. So if I will ask you regarding to this function, and I will ask you, please tell me what is the range of this function? Who can tell me what is the range? Y greater than or equal to negative 1 is smaller than or equal to كام? To 1. So the range, all the values between negative 1 and 1. Am I clear يا حلا؟ معايا كده؟ يبقى أنا كده I will take all the values between negative 1 and 1. These are my range. Are we clear on the range? مفهوم الرانج كده ولا لا؟ طيب sometimes this is very important. Sometimes we will call or we will mention what we call it there is يا عيالي اللي اونلاين والنبي الله يبارك لكم يا رب حاولوا تركزوا معايا او حاولوا تكتبوا معايا كده ولما اسال سؤال تردوا الله يخليكم يا رب. Very important. This is very important question. What is the important question so far? I have the following. If I said that the function will have restricted or bounded domain. لا ركزوا معايا شويه والنبي خليكي معايا يا نوران. If I have the function f of x equal x squared plus 1 like the previous function exactly, I will do the same يعني I will not change it. If I said my domain is restricted خلاص يعني if I give what we will call it restricted domain. معايا حلقه يعني معايا نورا يا رغد يعني ايه restricted domain يا رغد؟ يعني if I will say for example domain I will for the previous question I get the domain as all of the real numbers so the images goes ها يعني تخيلي كده ان انا لو حطيت number زي ال 100 فاهماني؟ هيبقى ليه انسر بس الانسر بتاعته هتبقى بعيده شويه اللي هو 100 to the power of 2 بالماينس بقى يعني 10 minus 10,000 plus 1 يعني هطلع لك minus 9,999 حاجه كده بعيده شويه تحت. But all the value here was accepted. طيب in the restricted domain يا حلا اللي هيحصل دلوقتي هنا معايا for the restricted domain if I said if x greater than or equal مثلا 1 يعني هنا كده الدومين بتاعتي will start from x is greater than or equal to كام يا عم الحاج؟ لو احنا اخدناها مثلا greater than or equal to 0 خليها تبدأ من عند 0 until 4. So I did not keep the x for all of the real numbers. يعني معايا كده يا احمد يا حمدي انت قاعد تشخبط في ايه يا حبيبي؟ طب ما تركز وسيبك من الشخابيط دلوقتي ركز معايا بس يعني if I have هنا x greater than 0 smaller than or equal to 4 يعني انا عندي الاكس بتاعتي included ما بين ال 0 وال 4. If x is included between 0 and 4 يا عيال what will happen? The range for us it will be a little bit different because I have he restricted the domain. هو خلى الدومين عندك يكون restricted. يعني ايه يكون restricted يا نورا؟ يعني يكون مقفول على حاجه معينه هو مش سايب الدومين مفتوح كالعادي يعني ان هو to do anything or to replace by anything. لا هو هنا عمل لي condition قال لي you couldn't change the x by any value apart from 0 to 4. طيب in this case what I have to do if I have the domain as from 0 to 4 انا محدد الدومين بس عندي من صفر لغايه الكام؟ الاربعه. تعالي نروح نتفرج عليها كده لو انا حطيت الفانكشن بتاعتي من عند الصفر لغايه الاربعه. If I replace x by 0 what will happen to the y؟ يعني ايه اللي هيحصل في الفانكشن؟ 0 squared اللي هو 0 plus 1 equal 1. طيب if I have x is equal to 2 يعني لو انا كان عندي الاكس بتاعتي هنا is equal to 2 is equal to 1 what will be the answer؟ 1 هيطلع معاك بيساوي 2. طيب if I will take 2 is equal 2 as replacement for x what will be the answer? It will be 5. So I have here 0 will give me 1, this will give me 2, the other one will give me 5. If I'll put x is equal to 3 what will be the answer? 10. If I'll put x is equal to 4 what will be the answer? It will be 17. So in this case if I reach to the 17 يعني if I reach to 17 اعلى حاجه انا وصلت لها هنا كانت ال 17 So in this case, who can tell me what will be my range? يعني if I will draw the function, it will come like that. Okay, هنا I did restricted domain. Okay, so based on the restricted domain, who can tell me about the range? مين يعرف يحدد لي الرينج بقى في الحالة دي؟ مين هو الرينج؟ مين يعرف يقول لي مين هو الرينج؟ 1 2 ممتاز، يعني انا اقدر اقول ان الواي هي greater than 1 smaller than or equal to كام؟ 217. يبقى انا عندي هنا الرينج بتاعت الفانكشن starting from 1 to what؟ اشمعنى 1 to 17؟ ليه ما خدناش من ال 1 لغايه forever؟ ال 17 هي ال highest value for my function. علشان الفانكشن هنا it is limited function. It started from the 0 to 4. So my image goes from 1 to what؟ 17. يبقى انا I can make the range could be different in some question. انت فاهمين اللي انا بقوله هنا ولا حاسه ان هو صعب؟ فاهم. طيب يعني انا هنا بس لو قلت لكم هنا احنا بنتكلم اهو على restricted domain. for the restricted domain انا عندي هنا ال f of x is equal to x squared plus 1. لو كانت ال x greater than 0 smaller than or equal to 4 يبقى انا هنا I just identify the values for the x. يعني just we put the values of x. And this value of x, we are making a kind of a replacement, and we are looking for what are the values of the y. So the values of the y starting from 1 to كام؟ to 7. اتفقنا كده؟ يبقى أنا عندي دومين متحدد والرينج بتاعته كمان متحددة. Are we clear on that؟ طيب. This is the range. Am I clear with the range؟ فاهمين حاجة في الرينج ده؟ فهمتوا الكونسبت بتاعت الرينج؟ طيب. Let's go to the concept number 3. Again, what did we agreed on? We agreed on the function. We need to understand what is the meaning of the function. Second part, what is the domain? How to find out the domain. For the range, how to work on the range or how to identify the range. يعني ازاي ان احنا نعمل identifying to the range. وبعدين الكومبوزيت فانكشن بتاعتنا الكومبوزيت فانكشن اللي موجود عندنا how to work on the composite function. This is what we need to discuss, and the inverse I need you to understand it as well. Let me start with the composite first. يعني خلينا نروح عند الكومبوزيت الأول. طيب related to the composite يا عيال. What is the composite? Composite is the easiest thing in this story. Okay, which is number 4. We call it as composite function. So I have what we will call it as a composite function. تعالوا نفهم يعني ايه كلمة حرانة. لا قولي بجد والله العظيم. شوية. واحنا كنا حاطينه على ماشي خلينا نجرب كده. الكومبوزيت فانكشن خلي البت عيد لا حول ولا قوة الا بالله. Let's go for the composite function. Hi miss. Hello. محمد خالد is absent. Okay. So خلينا نفكر كده في الكومبوزيت فانكشن. What will happen to the composite function؟ يعني عايزين نروح نشوف كده what's the problem with the composite function. Composite function يا عيال, if we have to discuss the composite function, there are two functions goes into each other. يعني هم عبارة عن two functions والtwo functions دول will merge together. اتفقنا؟ So if I said f of x is equal to, let me say x squared or x plus 5. بعدين I have g of x which is equal to x squared بس. خلاص يعني I have here f of x equal x plus 5 وال g of x equal to x squared. طيب let's work on this function. Ragad, just today from the Hill branch, huh? Okay, as a replacement of another class, Yusuf Marsa. طيب, let's go for this one. F of x is x plus 5, وبعدين g of x is equal to x squared. If I have these two functions and I am talking to you regarding to the composite means you have to work from a function into the other. For example, if I have the following, if I said I need f of fg of 3, for example, I have this one, fg of 3. What should happen for fg of 3 عيال؟ ايه اللي ممكن يحصل معانا في fg of 3؟ You have to start the function from inside to outside. معايا كده؟ So I just need to start from inside to outside يا أحمد. So my first stuff I have to start from G of 3. يبقى أنا عايز أطلع ال G of 3 الأول. مين هي G of 3؟ 9. So I will replace G of 3 يعني I will make a replacement in the G of X. هعمل replacement على G of X. So I need to go for G of 3 which will be 3 squared which comes as 9. طب on the other hand I need to go for f of 9. يعني I just did what is the f of 3 يا حلا؟ طلعت ان ال f of 3 عندي عبارة عن كام؟ 9. I need to go for f of 9. What is the f of 9? يلا I need بقى to replace it. So it's f of 9. خلاص f of 9 which comes as 9 plus 5 which is equal to كام قلنا؟ 14. طيب again يلا I need you to do it again. يلا you have to start from inside to outside. So the second part يلا يا عيال خليكم معايا. If I said GF of 5 يلا انا عايز اطلع GF of 5 مين يعرف يقول لي what will be the GF of 5؟ جدع يعني اللي هي طلعت برافو عليك يا احمد طلعت كام هنا؟ 100 جدع جبناها ازاي؟ I have to start from f of 5 يلا let's go for f of 5 what's the value of or what is the function f of 5 يلا يا عيال مين اللي يطلع لنا كده ال f of 5 equal كام؟ 10. So I have f of 5 which is equal to 10. طيب once you get the f of 5 which is equal to 10 now I need to go for g of 10. يلا I need to find out g of 10. ما هو انا كل اللي عملته دلوقتي هنا كده يا رغد ان انا شلت ال f of 5 I just made a replacement into the function f of x. طيب once I get f of x it becomes 10. طيب now I need to understand or I need to discuss what is the g of 10. So g of 10 will be 10 to the power of 2 يعني هنا 10 power 2 اللي equal 100. Am I clear؟ مفهوم يا عيال ولا لا؟ طيب let's go for the third one. يلا خلينا let's try to think about قول. احنا مش عملنا الاول ما احنا بناخد من جوه لبره يعني you have to start from inside to outside. مين ال f of 5 الاول؟ f of 5 هتتعمل فين؟ هتتعمل جوه الفانكشن ده. فانت بتجيبي ال f of 5 من جوه هنا. ال f of 5 هيبقى عباره عن 5 plus 5 يعني اللي هو عباره عن ال f of 5 ده اللي هو بيساوي كام عندك؟ 10. طب انت عايزه تطلعي g f of 5 يعني g of 10. مين الجي اوف 10 بقى؟ مين هي الجي اوف 10؟ ال 10 باور 2. مين هي ال 10 باور 2 اللي هي 100. خلاص؟ طيب do we have to make it again for the numbers؟ يلا try to make it يلا if I said I need g f of negative 10 يلا يا عيال طلعوا لي الانسر. يلا حد يطلع لنا الانسر. تطلع كام الانسر عندك؟ الاول كده انا هطلع الاف اوف نيجاتيف 10. مين هي الاف اوف نيجاتيف 10؟ هتطلع كام الاف اوف نيجاتيف 10؟ الاف اوف نيجاتيف 10 طلعت لنا نيجاتيف 5. طيب انا طلعت دلوقتي دوت عباره عن نيجاتيف 5 يبقى انا بجيب الجي اوف نيجاتيف 5. يلا يا شباب مين هي الجي اوف نيجاتيف 5؟ 25 because I have to write it as negative 5 square اللي هي عباره عن 20. يبقى I did the answer. Am I clear؟ يبقى انا كده قدرت ان انا اطلعها بحكايه النمبرز. طيب خلينا بقى to take it a little bit one further step. If I said for example I need to identify number 4 if I said I need fg of x. عايز حد يترجمها لي بقى. fg of x يا شباب what should I do؟ I'll go for f of x squared مش كده ولا ايه؟ يعني انا عايز اطلع هنا fg of x صح؟ fg of x. What should I do؟ I'll go through g of x. What is the g of x؟ مين هي g of x؟ مين g of x؟ x squared. يبقى انا هشيل g of x وابدلها بمين؟ x squared. طب دلوقتي انا عايز اطلع الاف بتاعت الاكس سكوير. احنا عندنا ازاي بنطلع الاف بتاعت الاكس سكوير؟ اف العفريت هو عباره عن عفريت زائد 5 يبقى اف الاكس سكوير عباره عن كام؟ x squared بلس 5. That's it. طب خلينا نجربها تاني يلا نجربها تاني نعملها كمان مره. لو انا قلت لكم g f of x انا بدلت دلوقتي. ها مين اللي يعرف يترجم معايا؟ يلا let's start from inside to outside. مين هو ال f of x؟ ادي g of x plus 5. يعني انا عايز اطلع g بتاعت ال x plus 5. g العفريت عباره عن كام؟ مين هو g العفريت ده؟ حلو قوي يبقى هيبقى عباره عن ال x plus 5 all of power كام؟ 2. يبقى انا هنا اقدر اطلع ان هي ال x plus 5 all of power 2. I can keep it in this way or I can expand it. Is it clear؟ مفهوم ولا لا؟ صعبه الحكايه دي؟ في اي مشكله يا جماعه في الكومبوزيت؟ Composite is clear ها؟ طيب let's go to the fifth part. which is the most important part in fact. اللي هم يعني شغالين عليه بقى رزع رزع رزع، كله ضرب ضرب ما فيهوش شتيمه حتى. The inverse function. Let's go to try to understand what is the inverse of the function. Okay? What is the meaning of inverse of the function? Yeah. Listen to me. The opposite, I'll tell you more details about it. You know, sometimes, okay, ممكن مثلا إنه there is a machine which take the cotton. خلاص يبقى أنا عندي هنا there is a machine. Okay, I'll put for it cotton. Okay, to get clothes. معايا كده؟ مش clothes دي قماش ولا حاجة تانية؟ القماش يعني إيه؟ طب والقماش يعني إيه بقى؟ Fabric. Okay. So I'll put cotton to get fabric. متأكد؟ يا بنت أنا كنت فاكر إن هم كانوا بيقولوا لنا عليها زمان. clothes برضه يعني هدوم أو صح؟ هدوم ملابس يعني. طب قماش بس كلمة قماش بس. Fabric? Okay. So I'll put cotton to get fabric. خلاص كده؟ So there is a machine will take the cotton to make it fabric. So this is the machine. This is the function. What is the opposite? مين هي الopposite بقى؟ It will take the fabric and return it back to cotton. I don't know how, but it should happen. But in general, okay, when we are saying a function which convert the cotton into a fabric. طيب the inverse of the function يا نوران will take the fabric and will return it back as cotton. اتفقنا كده؟ يبقى انا عندي هنا cotton حطيتها جوه الفانكشن اديت لي fabric. الفابريك دوت برجعه تاني يعني I will put it in the opposite يعني it's like the machine is writing going from left to right it will make a cotton. From the cotton will make it fabric. طيب from the fabric it will return it back to cotton. اتفقنا كده؟ طيب so I have the function and I have the inverse of the function. These are the two parts. اتفقنا كده يا شباب؟ يبقى ده الكونسبت بتاعت الفانكشن. مش فاهم حاجه برضه. What that means. If I said 5 in the function, if I said f of x, if I said f of x is equal to x plus 1. ال f of x عباره عن 2x plus 1. Okay? طيب if I said f of 5, who can tell me what will be the image of f of 5؟ يعني مين اللي هيطلع الريزلت عندك؟ 11. So I can say that the 5 goes through the function to become 11. طيب let's go inversely. يعني أنا عايز أرجع دلوقتي. I need to go backward. How to go backward? Go backward يعني I need to have what we will call it the inverse of the function which will take the 11 and will return it back as 5. طيب how come or how can I get the inverse؟ إزاي بقى نطلع الانفرس؟ Excellent. It's exactly as I'm telling you, I need you to play a game with the 11 to return it into the 5. So how to play this game? Always يا عيال هنا inverse اهو I need you to understand that f of 5 is equal to 11. So f inverse of 11 will give me 5. How this possible? How is it possible? You have to find out the inverse of the function. What is the inverse of the function? The people have like a process or a mechanism to get the inverse of the function. There is a way يعني or a method that if you apply it, you will get the inverse of the function. Like if I said f of x is equal to x plus 1. ده هنا كده كانت الفانكشن بتاعتي اللي هي عبارة عن 2x plus 1. If I need يا رغد to find out the inverse, I have to make it by this way. I have to go into the opposite. What is the opposite? I will make like a replacement. يعني هنا f of x equal to 2x plus 1. f of x equal to 2x plus 1. I will make like crossing. خلاص? I will make shifting. What is the shifting? I will make it as follow. It is 2y plus 1 is equal to x. What am I doing in this question? Okay. Your first step, you have to go into 2 steps. Step number 1, first, or step 1, to change x by y. خلاص? We will replace x by y and y by x. You know that f of x is referred to y عيال صح؟ مش انتوا عارفين ال f of x هي ال y؟ I'll replace x, I'll replace the y, I'll make it x. Are we clear on that? معايا كده ولا ايه؟ انتوا فاهمين حاجة؟ So I will make exchange between x and y. My next step, my step number two, after I did the exchange x by y, I have to go for step number two, which is make y the subject. I will tell you the reason. If I said f of x equal to 2x plus 1, هنا what I did, I just did like a kind of exchange between the two functions. يعني هنا f of x equal to 2x plus 1. So I just made a kind of exchange between both of them. I wrote it 2y plus 1 is equal to x. معايا كده؟ So what I have to do, I need to find y as the subject. So what I will do, I'll take the 1 and I'll try to make y the subject. So I will take 1 into the other side. So it's 2y. I'll go through it as follows. 2y is equal x minus 1. And then y itself, it will be x minus 1 over 2. So I get the value of y as x minus 1 over 2. Am I clear on that? So again, يا what we have to do. First step, exchange x by y. يبقى أول خطوة احنا هنعملها, we have to exchange x by y. اتفقنا كده يا رغد؟ طيب, this is my first step. Second step, I have to make y the subject. I have to make y the subject. Am I clear, يا نورا? So I have to change, it's 2x plus 1 is equal to y. So I will replace x by y. So I can write it as 2y plus 1 is equal to x. وبعدين I have to find y as the subject. So I can say it is 2y is equal to x minus 1 and then I will divide it by 2. Am I clear in this question? طيب, I need you to explain it a little bit more. يعني what is the meaning of the inverse of the function? As I told you, يا عيال, I have f of x will be like y. You know that, right? f of x is equal to كام؟ 2y. مش احنا عارفين ان ال y هي بتساوي ال f of x؟ صح كده؟ ال f of x equal to y. طيب, next part, inverse of y becomes x. So I have to replace this y and equate it by x. اتفقنا يا عيال؟ Just I need you to understand. It is not necessary. What you need to know, just make exchange between x and y, then make y the subject. Am I clear on that? Let's try to do one question in your own. If I said f of x, if I said f of x, if I said f of x is equal to x over x minus 3. يلا يا عيال. If I have this equation, f of x equal to x minus 3, find inverse of x. يلا شباب, try to find the inverse of x. يلا, try to do it. حد حلها؟ طيب, let me answer the question. My first step, yeah, listen to me. My first step, I have to make exchange between x and y. هعمل كده cross. So x over x minus 3 أنا هخليها y over y minus 3. Are you clear on that? يبقى أنا عملت كده y على y ناقص 3 بتساوي x, which is x over 1. طيب, let's go بقى. I need to find y the subject. يعني أنا عايز أخلي ال y subject. طب أعمل إيه دلوقتي يا رغد؟ هعمل cross multiplication. هيبقى 1 times أو x هنا هيبقى x multiplied by y minus x multiplied by 3 يعني اللي هو 3x is equal to y. Now, my mission is to find y the subject. أنا عملت الأول cross multiplication. فيها أي مشكلة؟ يعني أنا أول خطوة عملتها I just change x by mean by y. Do we have any problem with this one? يبقى انا اول ستيب عملته ان انا بدلت بس الاكس بالواي. كلير؟ طيب after I changed the x by y، يعني بعد ما انا عملت التشينج ما بين الاكس بالواي، خليت هنا y over y minus 3 is equal to what؟ equal to x. وبعدين هعمل from this stage I have to start trying to make y the subject. طب how to make y the subject؟ هعمل cross multiplication. 1 into y هتطلع y، وهناك ال x into y minus 3 so it's xy minus 3x. Now I need to make y the subject. يعني I need to collect everything related to the y. I'll send the y into the left. I'll send the 3x into the right. So xy minus y will be 3x. This is my story. And after that, I will take y as a common factor. So it is x minus 1 is equal to 3x. So I can say y is equal to 3x over x minus 1. Are we clear on that؟ مفهوم يا جدعان اللي احنا بنعمله ده ولا صعب؟ ها؟ Is it clear؟ هقول كمان مرة. I just did exchange. Or we can make a different question. Is it ماشي الحل هنا ولا كان في حاجة صعبة؟ هقولها تاني. أنا عملت دلوقتي تبديل، يعني أنا بدلت الإكس بالواي حل. يعني أنا خليتها كانت إكس على إكس ناقص 3، فأنا خليتها واي على واي ناقص 3. فهي لما تكون واي على الواي ناقص 3 بتساوي الإكس. وبعدين إيه الخطوة اللي هعملها بعدها؟ هعمل كروس مالتيبلاي. فيبقى x into y minus 3، يعني اللي هو x في الواي ناقص 3 في الاكس بتساوي y. خلاص كده. طيب ايه الخطوه اللي بعد كده؟ انا عايز اخلي الواي سبجكت. يعني ايه اخلي الواي؟ يعني عايز اخلي الواي هي اللي تبقى لوحدها. لوحدها مفيش وايات بقى مختلفه، يعني مفيش الاقي واي على اليمين واي على الشمال، هي كلها في حته واحده. So I will send the y into the left side. It will be xy minus y is equal to 3x. What should I do? I'll take the y as a common factor. هطلع الواي بره. مين اللي هيتبقى معايا بعد ما انا اخدت الواي بره؟ x ناقص ال 1 equal 3x. طب دلوقتي كده خلاص it is clear that I can make y the subject. So I can say y is equal to 3x over x minus. يبقى انا عرفت كده ان الانفرس يا شباب اهو، الانفرس of x will be 3x over x minus 1. Are we clear on that؟ مفهوم اللي انا عملته ده ولا لا؟ طيب خلينا نرجع تاني. Let's go for another example. Example 2. يلا يا شباب، لو كانت ال f of x equal 2x plus 3 over 5 minus x, find the inverse. يلا try to do it. حد عملها؟ ماشي، انت طلعت كام؟ طيب let's try to make it together. يلا. I'll do my first step. I'll make my x exchange. كل الناس خلصت ولا لسه؟ ها. My first step اللي انا هعمله دلوقتي، هعمل هنا التبديل اهو. 2y plus 3 over 5 minus y is equal to x. Is it okay? Is it clear يا عيال؟ مفهوم كده اللي احنا عملناه هنا. So it's 2y plus 3 over 5 minus y is equal to x. Are we clear on that? طيب now what will be my step? Cross multiplication. يلا. I'll do a cross multiply. So what will happen? I will make it as 2y plus 3 is equal to 5x minus xy. What is my mission? ها مين هي الميشن بتاعتي؟ I need to make the y subject. So I have to send this one into left and send that one into the other. So it will be 2y plus xy is equal 5x minus 3. Are we clear on that? لغاية دلوقتي فيها مشكلة؟ طيب I'll take from here y the subject. يعني y common factor. What will be the remaining? 2 plus x مش كده ولا ايه؟ Equal 5x minus 3. طيب what will be the next story? Y will be 5x minus 3. So it's 5x minus 3 over 2 plus x or x plus 2. Are we clear يا عيال on this one or not yet? مفهومة كده اللعبة دي؟ هشام is it okay؟ طيب could you try to make one in your own؟ معلش واحدة تاني كده عشان يعني we will go back to the other level. ها يعني ده كده اللي هو الايه اللي هو ليفل حمادة. في حمادة تاني خالص بقى. يلا ها. We need to go قبل ما نروح لحمادة التاني يعني let's go through this one. If I said f of x is equal to 3x minus 5 over 2x minus 7. يلا. Done. مفهوم يا جماعة لسه؟ ها did you finish it؟ أقولها تاني؟ ها do I have to repeat it ولا مش الحل؟ مش الحل. طيب يلا يعني let's make it أهي. خلينا نعمل ده كده cross. أدي هنا 3y minus 5 على 2y minus 7 is equal to x. وبعدين what I will do I'll just go through the cross multiplication. So it will be 2xy minus 7x equal 3y minus 5. I'll send all the things which is related to y into the other side and I'll reflect this one. So it will be 2xy minus 3y is equal to 7x minus 5. Type what will be the next step? I will take y as a common. So it's 2x minus 3 is equal to 7x minus 5. Type my next level ادي y بتساوي 7x minus 5 على 2x minus 3. Now, so I get this one as you see, this is what we will call it the inverse of the x is equal to 7x minus 5 على 2x minus 3. Am I clear يا عيال؟ حد وصل لحاجة في الموضوع ده؟ عادي. يعني if you did it by the way, if you have like 5 minus 7x over 3 minus 2x, it's accepted. Okay, يعني سواء كان كده أو كده لأن هو بس الموضوع it will make a difference when we are doing like changing of the script. What we did so far, it is the easy ones. خلاص يعني all what I did, these are the easy and the direct. In fact, on the last 4 or 5 years, they did not give any type of these question anymore. It's like that they remove it from the curriculum. It is there in the curriculum, but in the exam, they are not mentioning and they are not looking into any of these ones. There is one best more information that I need all of you to understand that it's just like if I give like a combined between the function and the inverse. There are an extra two stuff كده I need you to take care of when we are making a combination between two items, which is the combined session or the combined functions, combined the composite function وبعد كده الانverse. If I will make it like this يا عيال يعني if I said f for the inverse of x or I said inverse of f of the function يعني inverse then f of x in all the cases will come as x. مش فاهم حاجة يعني ايه الكلام ده؟ يعني let me say that the two opposite effect on the thing will keep it as it is. Is it logic or not? يعني if I said there is like two opposite effect on the same material, it will keep it as it is. It will not change it. يعني let me say I have the cotton, I make it fabric. وبعدين the fabric return it back to what? Cotton. If apply the function and the inverse at the same item, this will not change the item. Am I clear on that or not? So f of the inverse is equal the same. يعني it will not change anything يا رغم. يعني مثلا انا اديت لي الفانكشن دي 5. يعني let's say that I have this function f of x is equal to 2x minus 1 ولا 2x plus 1 اللي انتوا قلتوا لي عليها. 2x plus 1. طب والانفرس بتاعت الفانكشن، والله انتوا كنتوا عملتوا الانفرس عباره عن كام؟ حد يفكرني كده. كانت عباره عن minus 1 over 2، يعني اللي هي كانت x minus 1 over 2. فهنا if I said for example I need you to find for me f of 5. So what was the answer of f of 5 يا عيال؟ 11. طب مين هي الانفرس بتاعت ال 11؟ مين كانت الانفرس of the 11؟ 5. طيب if I said I need you to go for كده over the 5 or over 11 doesn't make difference. 11. So if I will go into the inverse of the 11, I'm starting from inside to outside, صح? So inverse of the 11 is equal to what? 5. احنا كده ولا غلط؟ يعني انا كده I need to inverse of the 11، يعني just I need to go for inverse of the 11 which is 5. So I will replace this one by 5. Now f of 5 is equal to what? 11. So I kept it as 11. Am I clear or not? فاهمين حاجه ولا لا؟ يعني هو بس من الاخر بالبلدي كده، يعني if the cotton becomes fabric and then this is the function, the opposite I will take the fabric into the cotton again. خلاص كده يبقى ده كده الاوبريشن او القصه اللي احنا بنتكلم عليها. طيب let's قول اعيدها تاني. بص الفكره كلها، انا لو انا قلت ايه اف للانفرس بتاعت ال 11، خليكي معايا واحده واحده يا حل. لو انا قلت لك مين هي الانفرس بتاعت يعني مين، بلاش انفرس، عفريت فانكشن ده اي فانكشن، يعني فانكشن ال 11 بيساوي كام؟ طيب اف اوف 5 بقى بتساوي كام؟ 11. ما هو انت عندك اف الخمسه، ما هي بنت خدي بالك دي الفانكشن وده الانفرس بتاعها. كان هم فاكره لما احنا كنا بنعمل كده في الكومبوزيت الفانكشن والانفرس بتاعه، او اتنين فانكشن يعني مع بعض اللي هم الاف والجي، فاكراهم؟ نفس القصه احنا بنعملها هنا. يعني نفس الحدوته انا بعيدها هنا، بعملها هنا مرتين. دول هنا كده عباره عن الفانكشن والانفرس بتاعته. اتفقنا؟ يعني الاثنين مع بعض. فهو ادي الفانكشن اسمها 2 اكس زائد 1، وادي الانفرس اسمه اكس ناقص 1 على الاثنين. لو انا بقول لك بقى دلوقتي كده حاله عايز تجيبي لي f of inverse of 5 او ال f inverse of the 11، فانت هتاخدي من جوه لبره. الانفرس بتاعت ال 11 مدياكي كام يا حلا؟ طيب f of 5 بس. اعكسي بقى. يعني لو انا جيت وقلت لك تعالي نعملها بالعكس، يعني انا قلت لك الانفرس بتاعت الاف اوف 5، يلا قولي لي انت بقى كده بالراحه تطلع كام من غير ما تعملي حاجه. الانسر هتطلع كام؟ 5 اصلا. طب تعالي نحسبها. اف اوف 5 بيساوي كام؟ طيب يا بت اف اوف 5 بتساوي كام؟ 11. طب الانفرس بتاعت ال 11 بتطلع كام؟ بالظبط كده. فعشان كده احنا قلنا ايه؟ فانكشن مع الانفرس الاثنين بيعملوا opposite operation، فلما يتعمل opposite operation يبقى انا كده عندي there is no change for the operation. اتفقنا؟ طيب so we get this amount which is f of the f of 5. خلاص we did this part اللي هي يعني ال ده. Okay. طيب this is one of the things that you should be aware of. There is another thing that you should be aware of as well. يعني هنا دي note number 1. Note number 1. Let's go for note number 2. تعالوا نروح نتفرج على النوت نمبر 2. ايه اللي هيحصل معايا هنا في السؤال ده يا شباب؟ ركزوا معايا كده. For the first part I have the following. For note number 2 معايا نورا بتقول لي ايه؟ I have the function. Let's say that I have the function that we discussed about it. يعني for example أنا كان عندي هنا f of x equal x squared plus 1. فاكرين المساله دي بتاعت الاكس سكويرد بلس 1 دي؟ فاكرينها؟ طيب كان عندها دومين اللي هو كانت الاكس greater than or equal to 1. لا، كان greater than or equal to 0. كنا احنا بدأنا من عند 0 لغايه الاربعه. اوكي، ده كان الدومين. Who can tell me what is the range of this function؟ مين يعني؟ ده كان الدومين اهو، ده الدومين. وبعدين مين يعرف يقول لي بقى مين هو الرينج؟ يلا، مين هي الرينج اللي موجوده عندي؟ مين الرينج اللي موجوده معانا يا عيال؟ اللي هي كانت 1 to 17. برافو عليك يا حلا، صح، مركزه البنت، صح يا معايا، مش زي ناس تانية. If I will put x equal to 0, so 0 square is equal to 0 plus 1, this will give me 1. طب if I will put x is equal to 4, it will be 16 plus 1, which is equal to 17. So we agreed on that the range was x greater than 0 smaller than y smaller than 4. هنا الرينج بتاعتنا is y greater than 1 و smaller than 17. Am I clear? So it was the domain and then it was what? The range. بصوا بقى معايا كده. What will happen if I will tell you let's try to find out the inverse of this function. خلاص، خلينا احنا بس كده اهو. We have domain and we have range for this function. Do we have any problem with this one؟ معايا كده يا عمور؟ يعني انا عندي الفانكشن بتاعتي مطلع لها الدومين ومطلع لها مين؟ الرينج. في اي حد عنده حاجه مزعلاه في الموضوع ده؟ Is it clear؟ طيب I have the function, I have the domain and I have the range. تعالوا بقى let's play the other game. What will happen if I said I need you to find out the inverse? How to get the inverse? ازاي نطلع الانفرس؟ What I should do? I will make a replacement. I will make replacement. يعني ايه replacement؟ احنا عارفين احنا كنا ازاي بنطلع الانفرس. احنا كنا بنعمل ايه؟ كنا بنعمل كده. Okay, exchange. So I will make it y squared plus 1 is equal to مين؟ to x. مش ده اللي انا كنت بعمله ولا ايه يا عيال؟ مش ده اللي حصل؟ انا بعمل الانفرس. How to make the inverse؟ make me exchange. عملت انا الاكستشينج بتاعتي اهو. وبعدين what is my next step؟ I need to find out the y. يعني I need to make y the subject. طب هنا دي plus 1، اعمل ايه في ال plus 1؟ هخليها هناك. يبقى انا عندي كده y square اهو is equal x minus كام؟ x minus 1. طب لو كانت ال y square بتساوي ال x minus 1، مين يعرف يقول لي مين هي هتبقى ال y؟ plus or minus الروت بتاعت ال x minus 1. صح ولا انا غلطان؟ طيب ما فهمتش حاجه. y square plus 1 equal x يا ولا؟ انا عايز اطلع ال y square. هاخد الواحد ده انقله الناحيه الثانيه مع تغيير الاشاره. هاخد الواحد انقله هناك، هيبقى x ناقص 1. ليه يا معلم؟ انا ببدل. يلا انا بعمل هنا عمليه تبديل. انا باخد الاكس سكوير زائد 1 ده ببدله اخليه واي سكوير زائد 1. ودي بدل ما هي واي انا ببدلها بخليها اكس. وبعدين كده بطلع انا الواي سبجكت. هي فين راح؟ والله ايه اللي حصل؟ ما عمليش صوت يا رحمه. وانتوا اصلا محسسين يعني ملك وكادي وانت، يعني انتوا الثلاثه محسسين ان انا قاعد شغال مع اموات قسما بالله، ولا بسمع حد فيه. نكمل. هنا انا يا ابن الناس كل اللي انا بعمله ان انا ببدل الاثنين دول ببعض. يعني انا بخليها هنا واي سكوير زائد 1 بتساوي كام؟ اكس. فانا عايز اخلي الواي سبجكت. عشان اخلي الواي سبجكت بخليها هنا واي سكوير ايكوال اكس ناقص كام؟ ناقص 1. وبعدين لما يكون الواي سكوير بتساوي الاكس ناقص 1 انا بطلع الواي لوحدها. الواي لوحدها عباره عن كام بقى؟ باخد السكوير روت. Do we have any problem with this one؟ طيب have a look. What did we agreed on? Y it should be what? A positive mean? Positive value. مش كده ولا ايه؟ So in general, because I identified the domain and this is my inverse. يعني هنا الانفرس بتاعتي الانفرس اوف اكس اهو هيبقى عباره عن بلس وماينس الروت بتاعت الاكس ماينس 1. حياة ابوك بقى انت وهو ركز معايا شويه. ركز بقى في اللي انا هقوله دلوقتي هنا. once I did exchange يا عيال، يعني once ان انا بدلت. يعني ايه بدلت يا حلا؟ الفانكشن دي يا حلا لما احنا رسمناها كانت جايه لنا كده. اوكي، يعني كانت جايه من عند الواحد وبعدين وصلت لغايه 17 لو تفتكر. لما باجي ابدل ده كان الفانكشن اهو. يعني ده اللي قدامك ده هنا كانت الفانكشن. خلاص ده الفانكشن. طب انا بتكلم في الاوبوزيت بتاعته. انا بتكلم في مين؟ في الانفرس بتاعتها. الانفرس عملت ايه؟ الانفرس قامت جايب المنظر ده كده. مش فاهم حاجه. يعني ايه؟ يعني دلوقتي بدل ما كانت ركزي بقى معايا في الحته دي شويه، معلش عشان الحته دي رخمه قوي شويه. بصوا معايا كده اهي، خليني اكتبها لك كده، اصحى لي فيها جامد جدا. ادي هنا ده الفانكشن، ادي ده الفانكشن، وده الانفرس. يبقى انا عندي في فانكشن وعندي انفرس. خليك معايا والنبي يا حلا، سيبي لي في ايديكي معلش. خليكي معايا، في هنا دومين وفي هنا رينج. تعالوا بس let's remember together what did we speak about the function. the domain of the function كان مين؟ x، مش كده؟ x greater than or equal to كام؟ مين هو الاكس بتاعتنا؟ x دي كانت greater than or equal to 0 smaller than 4، يبقى هنا كانت greater than 0 smaller than or equal to 4. ده كانت الفانكشن. متفقين؟ يبقى الفانكشن عندنا هنا اللي هي الاكس greater than or equal to 0 smaller than 4. طب مين كان الرينج؟ y greater than or equal to كام؟ 1 وسمولر ذان اور ايكوال تو كام؟ 217. حد فيه مشكله؟ ده الفانكشن، ده الدومين الدومين والرينج بتاعت الفانكشن يا حلا، فيها اي مشكله الحكايه دي؟ طيب what you should be aware of. If I said I will make the inverse of the function, I will make as we exchange the x-axis by y-axis، يعني انا بدلت الاكس بالمين؟ بالواي. So the function will go like that. بصوا بقى اللي هيحصل معاكم هنا، ان الفانكشن will be exchanged as well. يعني هنا it will be x greater than or equal to 1 smaller than or equal to 17. يبقى I have to change. شايفه ده طلع فوق بقى هو مين؟ الدومين. وشايفه الدومين اللي هنا ده هينزل تحت يبقى هو الرينج، يعني الواي بتاعتك تبقى greater than or equal to 0 smaller than or equal to. خلينا اقول الحكايه دي كمان مره. خلينا اقول دي تاني يا رغد عشان مهمه جدا 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 جدا. دلوقتي انا عندي هنا المعلومه دي very important. المعلومه دي هنا قال لك ايه؟ قال لك انا عندي هنا فانكشن اهو، وعندي هنا الناحيه الثانيه الانفرس. وادي ده دومين، وقدام منها هنا في رينج. اللي انا محتاج ان انتوا تعرفوه، if I set the domain of the function, let me say for example يعني ان الدومين كان x greater than a smaller than b، وبعدين جيت هنا كان الرينج بتاعتي y greater than c smaller than d. In this case you have to be aware of, once we are talking about the inverse will make it different, will make it the opposite يا جنى، يا حلا. يعني يا معلش حاجه، جنى اخبارها ايه؟ عامله ايه؟ طيب يبقى انا عندي الانفرس هخليها هنا x greater than c smaller than d. يعني انا كده بدلت دي طلعتها هنا، وده هنزله تحت معايا كده يا رغد. يعني انا هخلي كده الواي بتاعتي greater than a و smaller than b. Are we clear on that? So we did a kind of exchange. متفقين يا عيال؟ مفهومه اللعبه دي ولا لا؟ So you should be aware of this operation. يعني you should be aware of that. You should be aware of the function and the inverse. لازم تكون aware ما بين الفانكشن والانفرس. وازاي ان انت لو عندك فانكشن ليها دومين وليها رينج، الانفرس بيعمل اكسشينج، بيبدلوا مع بعض. خلاص بيلعبوا هم سوا. يعني this one has a domain and has a range. الانفرس بتاعته بياخد الرينج از دومين وبيخلي الدومين يبقى رينج، بنعمل الاكستشينج. Are we clear on that؟ طيب this was two important notes. You should be aware of both of them. طيب next note number 3. يبقى انا عندي بس الله يبارك لكم يا رب this lesson 5 parts and 3 notes. خلاص 5 parts and 3 notes. معايا يا رغب؟ معايا يا حلا؟ يبقى انا عندي هنا النوت نمبر 3. What about the note number 3؟ 90% of the question 90% of the question will be related to completing the square. مش فاهم يعني ايه القصه دي بقى دي؟ يعني if I said for example that f of x is equal to x squared minus 10x plus 4 مثلا. يبقى I have this function as it is x squared minus 10x plus I have this function. خلاص أنا عندي الفانكشن ده. f of x equal x squared minus 10x plus. This is my first part. If I said for this function يا عيال, if I said for this function, I need you to find out the inverse of it. To find the inverse of this type of function, you will not be able to find the inverse unless if you did completing the square. ازاي هعمل completing the square? I'll tell you. There is like I will do if I ask you find the inverse of the x. يعني أنا عايز أطلع الانverse بتاعت ال x. What should I do? I will go by this way. I'll go by this way. And I will make it as y squared as usual يعني y squared minus 10y. If I said y squared minus 10y plus 4, this is the expression is equal to x. خلاص? So I did it by this way that y squared minus 10y plus 4 is equal to x. I have this expression. My mission is to make y the subject. If you looked at one of the example here when we did the exchange يعني as usual when we did the exchange we replaced x by y and y by x بعد كده to find out the y as the subject it was easy. خلاص يعني هنا in this يعني in this scenario it was easy. ليه it was easy? Because you can see that y squared plus 1 is equal to x, so y squared is equal to x minus 1, and then to get rid of the power 2 you took square root for both. But in this question I will not be able to do the same. I don't have only one y. They are y squared and there is another y. يعني I have two different type of the y. Y to the power of 2 and y to the power of 1. طيب, how to deal with this question يا راغب? I will send the 4 into the other side. So I will make it y squared minus 10y is equal to x minus 4. يبقى أنا عندي هنا y squared minus 10y is equal to x minus كام؟ 4. يعني just I will send the 4 into the other side. طيب, let's play the game بقى يا أحمد. I need to find y. I need to complete the square. How to make completing of the square? I'll go normally as I'll take square root of the first, which is y, minus half of the coefficient, which is 5. All of power كام؟ 2. يبقى أنا خدت square root للأولاني اللي هو 5 وخدنا half الكوفيشنت بتاعت التاني اللي هي كانت ال 5 all of power 2 minus 25. يبقى خلينا نعيد كمان مرة كده. What we did, I just took square root of the first اللي هو كانت ال y. Sign, I kept the sign as negative. I took half of the 10 which is 5. يبقى أنا عندي هنا y minus 5 all of power 2 minus 25 is equal to just I worked on this part on the right left. بعد كده x minus 4 دي هتفضل زي ما هي x minus 4. طيب, I need to complete. What should I do in this case يا نورا? I'll take the negative 25 into the other side. يبقى أنا عندي هنا y minus 5 power 2 is equal to x minus 4. أنا هعمل لها هنا plus 25 و plus 25 هيطلع معاكي x plus 21. Now I need to get rid of the power 2. So what should I do? Square root. يبقى كده أنا عندي y minus 5 is equal to plus or minus الروت بتاعت ال x plus 21. وبعد كده I will send the 5 into the other side. So it's 5 plus or minus root x plus 20. Are we clear on that? طيب, here there is a condition. I have like two different answers. They will give you, for example, they will give you, have a look. لا, ما هو لو المسألة هنا ماينس فأنا حطيتها دي ماينس. أنت قصدك على ده اللي دايما يكون ماينس. دايما وأنت بتعملي completing السكوير بتعملي ريموف للإكس سكوير. يعني بتعملي ريموف لل 25. فهو هنا انت بتاخدي السكوير روت بتاعت الواي وبعد كده الماينس بتفضل زي ما هي والعدد بتاع الواي ده بتاخدي اللي هو الهاف بتاعته اللي هي 5 بعدين بتعملي لها باور 2 minus 25. اتفقنا كده؟ So we have this expression اللي هي x minus 5 all power 2 minus 25 is equal الكلام ده. فانا خدت الماينس 25 عملت لها بلس 25 في الناحيتين يعني في البوث سايدز عشان اخلص من حكايه الماينس دي وكملت السكوير بتاعتي عادي. But as you see at the moment يا عيال there is two answer for the y يا عمر ركز معايا شويه عشان الدرس ده انا عارف ان هو رخم. ها there are two different signs plus and minus. What should happen in this equation? He should tell me about the domain. يعني he should tell me if x greater than or smaller than the x because he cannot keep it as the parabola. ركزوا معايا تاني كده والنبي في الحته دي للناس اللي بتفهم بس. انا I have the quadratic formula. It will go like this. If I will reflect it, it will not be a function. So we have from the beginning to either to deal with the positive area or the negative area. يعني لازم اصلا من الاول يا يوسف هي الفانكشن معموله كده. لو انا خليتها تبقى بالشكل ده يعني انا لو عملت الانفرس بتاعتها وهي نزلت لي كده حكايه البلس والماينس it will not be a function. يعني the function has only one image. It couldn't be like two images. فهنا we should from the beginning to identify are we talking about the right side or we are talking about the left side. So in this question, for example, they should give you the domain as x greater than or equal to 5 وممكن يقول لك x is smaller than or equal to 5. Okay, so they can identify, they should identify the domain. طب ليه هم they should identify the domain؟ فاكرين لما قلت لكم ان الدومين هنا it will be the range of the other. So the y there, the y in the opposite, what it should be greater than or 5. If it will be greater than the 5, so the negative here it will be rejected. So it's to write the function, you will say the inverse of x is equal to 5 plus root x plus 21. Okay, so we get this expression. اتفقنا على حكايه الانفرس دي. This information is so important. خلاص this part يعني تاني كده هي الفانكشن اصلا يا شباب معموله كده هي اصلا parabola. اوكي البارابولا دي جت مثلا من عند ال5 وبقى ليها 2 باس يعني ليها 2 بارتس. ال2 بارتس لو انا عملت ان الموضوع عملت له ان هو يتعمل بالعكس يعني لو اترسمت كده it will not be a function. الفانكشن couldn't have like more than one image for each element. So they have to identify either they need the above or they need the below. How to make it? If they said مثلا I need this part which is greater than the 5 يعني هنا ادي ده كانت ال5 وانا بتكلم على البارت اللي هو greater than the 5. So in this case when we will flip it I will use only the bottom one. I will not use the above one and so on if it will be the other. So it will be one side not two sides. يبقى انا كده عندي بس الاول let's try to go through this track. اهو I get f of x equal x squared minus 10x plus 4 وادي الاكس بتاعتنا هي عباره عن greater than or equal to 5. يبقى انا I have the value of x is greater than or equal to 5. خلاص we have it. And in this case I have the function y squared minus 10y plus 4 is equal to x. وبعد كده بدات ان احنا نعمل completing of the square and we found out the answer. Am I clear on that? I completed the function. Okay, this is about everything related to the function. So you need to identify the following as a summary. Function consists of 5 parts. What are the 5 parts? Meaning of the function, which is f of x, f of 2, f of 5, f of 10, f of x, whatever the meaning of the function, how they write the function. This is the first thing. Second thing, it's how to identify what is the domain, how to get the domain. And don't forget, please, that the domain consists of 3 areas. One area, which is the polynomial, which has all the real numbers, there is no problem. And there is the fractional when we have to exclude some values. And there is the square root where we have to remove some other parts. Okay, يعني if it's square root of any included value, يعني هنا whatever below of the root, it should be positive only. It couldn't be like any negative. And the third part, apart from the meaning domain and the range, hopefully that you can understand what the meaning of the range or it is the set of images that we are getting from the graph based on the domain in some question. And after that, we talk about the composite of the function, composite function. And the last part that we speak about it, it was the inverse of the function. Listen, there is a worksheet, okay, question from 1 to question number 17, I think. I did that recorded. Yani I did a record for the question from 1 to 17. Total question of the worksheet, it's from 1 to 29. There are some question, which is all the question, which is like this one when they are asking for the inverse مثلا. يعني لما بيجي يكلمك any type of this question, it comes like in 2000 from 2000 مثلا 1 until 2015, 16, something like this. Starting back from 18 and above, most of the question which is connected to the inverse comes into this area. Domain, range, all of these stuff. Function of the inverse, it will not change, some stuff like this. So most of the questions are old, few questions are the new, but they are very important. Please, احنا النهارده we are on Sunday. بالله عليكم, in this Wednesday, I need to start a new lesson. How it is possible to start a new lesson? Yani, how do you think it is possible to start a new lesson if you will not understand or if you will not cover the function? I cannot. If you did not cover it, it will be useless if I have to change or I have to move to another topic. Am I right? So we did the graph number 1. I have graph number 2. Then I have the transformation. Then I have the calculus. These are 3 complete or 3 full sessions, like this session. The 3 full sessions that I needed, okay, to complete all of my work, I need like this week, hopefully that I can do the non-linear function, the non-linear graph, اللي هو on Wednesday. وبعدين next week, I'll do the transformation and the calculus. So by the end of the next week, I should be over or completely finished numbers, algebra, graph, geometry. خلاص, everything done. Once we will finish the next week, once we will finish the remaining topics, which is the transformation and the calculus, once we finish these 2 topics, خلاص, you can start doing a past paper question. We can start identify a past paper question from 2018 and above. You can start working on this question, do a full paper apart from probability and statistics. So these are the only 2 parts are remaining. So عشان خاطري بالله عليكم, this week, show me that you need to finish the curriculum. Show me that you will help me to finish the curriculum. Do the question of the paper on the function. Let's say that we finish it. So for example, I did a record for the first 17 questions. It will help you. Okay, yani just try to do it first. There is a marking scheme and there is the recorded video as well for the answer of the 17 questions. And there are like many other videos. I remember for different groups, I did many other videos related to the functions. I can share it all with you. It is not a matter. But what you should be aware of, I need you to do your best to finish the function. This Wednesday, I don't need to waste it. احنا النهارده ايه؟ حد. So for Wednesday, I don't need to waste it for the function again. Yani, I don't need to waste a full paper or a full session on the function. Just finish the function, finish the question related to the function. There is the recorded, which is there to help you for answering some question from question number 1 to question number 17, I think. And the rest of the question, try to do it yourself. If there is a question starting from 18 to the 28, which is about 10 or 11 questions are remaining there, yani. If you have any problem, we will discuss it next time. But I don't need this to have like more than 30, yani 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. So we can go for 1.5 hours for a full nonlinear graph. اتفقنا? If this will happen, we will finish the curriculum next week. If you will not do this, we will not be able to finish the curriculum. خلاص الموضوع it's completely it's like when يعني it is between both of us, between me and between you. Okay, I will not be happy if I will just give the lesson and just ignore it and خلاص there is nothing and I have to start the new lesson. I cannot do this. So please do it and show me if you have any problem. We have to discuss it. And after that we will start doing the exams. خلاص يبقى احنا عندنا next week ان شاء الله it will be the last week for anything. خلاص بقى every week later on after the next week it will be one session for statistics, second session it will be for correcting the exam that we will discuss it. يعني we will start from 1H 2018. So all of us we will answer question اللي هي past paper 1018 or 2018. All of us we will go through this paper. One of the session of the week we have two sessions. One we will make it for the exams. The second one will make it for the statistics. خلاص? And we still have a good time to digest the statistics. Statistics is so easy. So easy. I think even you can do it in your own. It's different. Only the difference for you, it will be what we will call the histogram. Only the histogram and the cumulative frequency table because you did not see it before. But the rest are so easy. خلاص؟ وبعدين ال probability it will be a little bit more challenging in some question, not every question. يعني probability is fine apart from specific question which will be a little bit more challenging. But please, next week I need to finish the curriculum. Is it possible? الجيومتري خلصت من زمان من ساعة ما خلصنا الفيكتور انت لسه صاحي ولا ايه؟ So خلاص يا شباب is it clear? I will share with you today the session of today and I will share with you the record and please